First day of daylight savings time. It's a Sunday. I didn't have to work. I laid around here and read 148 pages out of this book and finished it. Confrontation at Lepanto. Christendom versus Islam. Lepanto was a battle. It's over in Greece. It was a battle between galleys from Spain, Venice, Genoa, Italy, and galleys from the Ottoman Empire. And the Ottomans had been kind of building up their forces in the Mediterranean and the Adriatic and the Aegean seas, and they had become a real menace to shipping in that area. And the Pope called for a big, naval crusade against the Ottoman ships. The Ottomans actually outnumbered them. They were in port, they were close to their supplies, but the Christian ships had several technological advances. I mean, one of the most obvious was the the Christians actually brought like guns with them, while the Ottomans relied on bows and arrows, and it was a pretty good book. These kind of books are great, where it just focuses on one battle or one instance. This is where you really learn things. I'm guessing that this author, the guy's name is T.C.F. Hopkins, is an American, because he uses Habsburg instead of Habsburg. Anything that you read that's written by a European author, they always say Habsburg with a B, but I'm always running into Habsburg with a P. It's published in New York. I know that doesn't mean nothing, but there was something in here that I really liked. On the back cover, they identify this painting. You probably can't see the painting. A lot of books that are written about something that happened in antiquity. This really wasn't antiquity. This is 1571, so actually this is the medieval period is over. But they usually have a painting on the front of the cover. And this is a pretty cool painting. It's very detailed. Shows the ships coming together. And they actually tell me what the name of the painting is and who painted it. Most of the time you don't get that. I don't have a whole lot of notes in here. The third paragraph. About 5 years before Lepanto, Felipe II of Spain appointed a royal commission to determine the savability of the natives of America. The commission decided that since there was no mention of the American natives in Scripture, they were destined for limbo and could not hope for heaven, which meant that the church need not be responsible for their salvation or their abuse. For the next 50 years, this posture dictated Spanish policy towards all American natives, with the sole exception of the Incas. And it doesn't really explain why there was an exception for the Incas. This little chapter here, no, that's the eve of battle. There's another chapter in here that says, the title of the chapter is Meanwhile in the Rest of the World, which I thought was fantastic. You get a little bit of a historical perspective on things, and it just lets you know, what the hell was going on everywhere else. They're talking a little bit about some of the events. Well, they give you a little background here on the Venetians, how they built their city, why they built their city. During the beginning years of the Dark Ages, roughly AD 400 to 500, I would agree with that, the peoples of what is now northeastern Italy found themselves under waves of attack from various barbarian invaders on their way from Eastern Europe and the Asian steppes to sack Rome. Goths, Lombards, Alans, Avars, Huns, and many lesser groups came through the Balkans and the Alps, headed south down the Italian peninsula, raiding, pillaging, and killing as they went, or in the case of the Vandals, came up through Italy from the south, headed for the Danube Valley, and eventually to the broad grasslands of what is now Poland, vandalizing as they went. Okay, in the first place, the Lombards did not come from the Asian steppes or from Eastern Europe. They came from like the Rhine Delta. And the Vandals, anything I've ever read about the Vandals, the first thing the author will tell you is they did not deserve to have their name associated with vandalism. They even sacked Rome and didn't ruin the place. As far as them settling in the broad grasslands of what is now Poland, I think the Vandals may have come from that area. They went all the right way around the north of Europe. They ruled Spain for a while. It's actually an amazing tale what they did. They ruled Spain for a while, and then they migrated to North Africa, kicked the Romans out of where Carthage used to be, and made that their kingdom for a while. From there, they came and sacked Rome. They didn't head up through the... I don't know where the guy got that, but obviously the age of migration is not his specialty. Okay, just another little thing I thought I would point out here. Oh, and by the way, the Lepanto was basically the last large-scale naval battle that consisted of all galleys. And when I say galleys, I mean vessels that are rowed by oars, big banks of oars. Some of these people were slaves. Anytime they captured somebody alive, and they'd chain him to an oar. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, this is the chapter. Meanwhile, in the rest of the world, they're talking about Nagasaki, Japan. The mayor opened the city to foreigners. This is in 1571. Perry went to Japan in 1854, and like most people that grow up in the United States, we hear the story of Perry, being the first one to open up Japan, and I don't know, is that American propaganda? I read that one book about Nagasaki and the atomic bomb, and it went all through the early history of Nagasaki. So this is the second time I've read this. Japan was already open to foreigners. I got one more note. Last paragraph. And this is still in meanwhile in the rest of the world. In Denmark, Tycho Brahe, I don't know if I'm pronouncing the last name correctly, the innovative astronomer, continued his studies of the heavens. In the following year, he recorded his sightings of a new star that finally demonstrated that Aristotle was wrong in assuming no changes can occur in the outer regions of the sky. So when I read this, first I thought to myself, okay, well, when was Aristotle alive? And I was really close. I thought, the end of 300 BC, and he was born in 384 BC. So I was pretty much right. But this just goes to show you that this is in 1571. So it's over 1,000 years. What the hell were Europeans doing for 1,000 years that it took them that long to figure out that Aristotle was wrong about something? And I'll tell you what they were doing. They were arguing about the divinity of Jesus. They were arguing about whether babies had original sin and they were going to hell or not. So, this was only 198 pages. I started it yesterday, and I've laid in bed with my cat all day today and finished this book. I'm going to probably start another one because it's only 6 o'clock. Thanks for watching.